So then, of course I'll answer, what is the oldest camera in my collection? And I'm assuming the person that asked me this has a collection of vintage film cameras. This is easy for me. I have a Graphic 35mm beautiful vintage camera. I think this is from the 50s. It might be 55. Correct me if I'm wrong. You probably know more about these than I do because you asked me the question. The beautiful thing about this particular camera, even though it's from the 50s, it is still fully functional. So this is my oldest fully functional camera in my collection. It's the Graflex Graphic 35. Let me just get a little focus in there for you. So this particular beast I picked up in a vintage market. It is wonderful. I took it on a photo walk once the question was posted, put a roll of Portra 400 through it in one of my local parks. And honestly, it's a pleasure to shoot.
So as I'm hiking along, then I say hike, I'm really just walking in the woods with this Graphic 35. My thoughts are pretty simple. It's a very basic camera, pretty easy to use. I'm excited to see how the images turn out. I'm not the best at focusing with it. I know that this is a special focusing system, but it's just a little tricky to use. That having been said, I still really enjoyed it now. This is quite an easy trail to do, so I was able to walk around, snap images in the forest, pretty good, but the light's pretty low. Having to use my light meter, and it's not working out as easy as I'd like, but hopefully we get at least one good image. And that's the thing, when I come out, if I get a good image at a 36, I'm happy. I got some exercise, I got to get in the forest, and I got to use these beautiful old cameras. So out of 10 for usability, you guys, this is an easy 6 to 7. Nice and light, looks beautiful, and even if the images don't turn out or the camera ends up broken, it's going to look great on my shelf. And Ansel Adams used this company to create his wonderful images, one of which, like I said, I got on my wall, so I feel privileged.
It's not as intuitive and as easy to shoot as my point and shoots or my SLRs, but let's go through it. Let's have a conversation. Let's pick up the images, have a look, and we'll have a chat. I really do like these conversations. I mean, I know it's simply me talking to a camera, but I get a chance to have a beer, go back over one of my favorite cameras and develop some film and get some awesome images.
Now this area is called Conker's Hollow, and it is in a national park in Ohio. I've never actually been here, but it's a beautiful day and it's a good chance to test the abilities or the capabilities of those old school cameras. Now, thinking about it, back in the day, that's all people had. So really, it's just down to my use of the Sunny 16 rule. But to be honest, I'm just going to be using my app on my phone.
The more 35mm images that I get and the more negatives that I create for my collection, the happier I am. The good thing about a lot of this stuff, which I'm taking, the images I'm taking, the good thing about the images I take for these test shoots is I can use them for B-roll. Whilst I'm explaining certain things, you can see the kind of vibes you get from different f-stops and different exposures. This is a really good camera to test because it does not have a light meter. I had to use the Sunny 16 rule, and I had to use a light meter on my app in order to get those images and create those compositions. So let's talk specs then for this beautiful baby. The film then, it is a 35mm camera. Fully manual, fully mechanical. I wind the film forward, I load the film, I manually focus. It doesn't have a light meter. I have to use the Sunny 16 rule or my external light meter. There are two lenses available for this. There is a 50mm 3.5 and there's a 50mm 2.8. Both lenses are color corrected and color coated. This is the 3.5. The 2.8 apparently is better, obviously because it's faster, but this is fine for me. As I'm sure you can see from there, we have two viewfinders, 1, 2. The big one is for me to take care of my composition, is to frame that composition, but the little window there is for focusing, and it's a split image focus. So half the screen down the middle is split. When the screen comes together as one and is correct, then that is the image focused. And the reason I absolutely love this camera, and the reason I picked it up basically, is because you focus the camera with these two focusing dials here. You can see the lens moving forward and backward as I depress my finger here or depress my finger here. And that is how you focus the camera. So you hold the camera up, look through the middle viewfinder, and you focus the camera using these gentle soft buttons here. And the throw is pretty small, you guys. Super easy to use. And I realize that a lot of us are used to focusing by turning the lens itself, but you guys, it's actually very easy. And as I look at the top, you can see in that top dial that the numbers change. I can go all the way from nice and close up to infinity. Works very, very well. And then as we said before, on the top dial is where we have our f-stops. So we set our f-stop, we set our aperture, and then we set our focus, set the shutter speed as well on the camera, and then we go ahead, cock the camera, cock the shutter, and take the picture. This is the shutter release button here. Real simple. I cock the camera here. Just turn that lever all the way to the right, and that's the camera cocked. Finder, check my composition, and then boom, I take my picture. Real straightforward. Another thing I like about this camera is how tactile it is. I have to unlock the base and take the whole back of the camera off, very Leica-like, in order to load my 35 film in the back of the camera there, which again is nice and fun. When I'm done loading my film, I simply pop the back on, and then we simply advance or rewind our film by using these dials. There is an advanced dial here which tells us that the film is actually advancing and gives us that indication that we have loaded the film correctly. So this may be a camera from 1955, but we still have a tripod mount. We have a cable release. We have a self-timer. I loaded it with color film. It has focusing that is intuitive and nice and easy to use. It has two viewfinders, so I can frame and focus and set my composition. It is relatively small and looks beautiful on the shelf. And what I also love about this brand is its Graflex. And if you know anything about photography, which I'm sure you guys do, Ansel Adams used a Graflex camera back in the day. to compose some of those beautiful images which he took. The reason I purchased this camera, I have an Ansel Adams picture up on my wall, and I just love the idea that him and I have used the same brand of camera at some point in our lives, and it makes me feel connected to one of those legendary photographers. So I'm glad that I was asked the question, and I'm glad to have discussed the Graflex Graphic 35 or my Graphic 35 with you. It's in my collection. I'm never going to get rid of it. The good thing about these cameras is they're a little bit intimidating, and don't you be intimidated by it. You can tell by the images that I took on my workout, which is what it was. I walked a hiking path, I saw a composition I enjoyed, pulled this camera out, focused with those buttons with my small viewfinder, split screen, bang, I took my image. Put this back in my hiking jacket pocket, just knowing that you used a vintage camera body that was created, conceived, and put together by people that are probably not around anymore and still created those beautiful compositions. You guys, this is what 35mm photography is all about. Rekindling the past, reliving the past, respecting it, paying homage to it, and keeping it alive. And we're doing that by using these cameras. Ansel Adams, use this brand. You too can use a Graflex Graphic 35 for the sumly price of less than $20. If you can get a 2.8 lens, grab it. But this 3.5 is absolutely fine. The oldest camera in my collection, that still works. My Graflex Graphic 35. Thank you for asking. Thank you for being here with me. I hope you enjoyed the images. You guys, I'll see you on the next one. Take care.